All right, everyone, welcome back to my channel. Vernita Adele, your anti-racist executive producer. And right here in America's Hot Sauce, we are taking 2026 to tap in with all of the ways that we can support our emerging event producer, our fellow executive producers, and thriving in this year. And so today we are going to talk about 5 predictions on the way that AI is going to change our approach to events in 2026. Now, I know AI is this big hot topic, and there's so many people who are concerned about the way that we are going to be impacted as event producers, that somehow our work is going to be replaced by AI. And I mean, I personally am not on the bandwagon of being replaced by AI, but what I do believe that AI will do, it's not so much that you will be replaced by AI, but you can get replaced by another executive producer who understands AI. And that is some real facts. So we want to go ahead and encourage all of us to tap into the skills that we will need to be successful in 2026. So today we're going to talk about just a couple of predictions, 5 predictions on where AI will change the way that we approach events in 2026. Number one, proposal writing. I don't know about y'all. I have spent hours at times, hours on producing proposals. And yes, we already have some tools like the chat GPTs of the world that can give us a basic outline, but we want to take this to the next level. So we want you to start training your AI tool, whichever one you're using. I'm like a big fan of Claude right now. Train your AI tool with everything about your client that it can know, with all the criteria for that proposal, with your portfolio and everything that you bring to the table, and then ask that AI tool to spit out an initial draft of that proposal that you can then tweak, put your own voice on it, and give yourself a head start. We'll save so much time. Secondly, number two, production project management. Now, we all know these are all areas that have historically required us to be very hands-on. And of course, if you are the executive producer, if you're the lead producer, if you are the event planner for that event, then everyone is looking at you as the spearhead to the project management and those project timelines. This is what we're going to say about AI. We are going to allow AI to help make our work easier. Easier. It is okay to allow AI to help make our work easier. It is. And now, if you are particularly independent and you work with different clients, they all use a different project management tool. Some might like Monday.com, some might like Trello, some might like Basecamp, Asana. Fact number one, as a sidebar, if you are an independent producer, make sure that you are charging for that. If you have a client who wants you to do the data entry of putting tasks into the project management tool of their choice, that is a separate charge. And really, you should hire another team member to come on just to do that. That is an administrative task. That's not what you should actually be doing. But besides that sidebar, it is your responsibility to put the initial project timeline together with the task, who's responsible, the categories, due date, start dates, all of that. Use AI to do that. You can have hours saved by running through with AI what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Give it a vision, give it the training, give it the format that you want it to come out in, and then you can tweak rather than starting from scratch. And I do predict also, as we go along, our industry is going to find a way to bridge a gap between the project timelines that AI can produce for us now and being able to insert it into those preferred project management systems that your client may have. Now, the next one, number 3, we're going to go on to event design. Again, we are not replacing our beloved graphic artist that we love to work with. I know the graphic designer is the most important vendor for me in many of my events with clients because that is who I buzzy up with so that we can get the client story right. But AI is going to take it to a next level. Part of this is just being able to expand our capacity on what we think is possible. It's not taking away our creativity, it is enhancing it. So from the start of those mood boards, inspiration, tear sheets of what we are trying to identify, what we want to be inspired by, what is the story that we want to tell with our event, have AI be your partner in that work so that we can take our impression on the client to the next level, tell their story to even greater detail. with nuance and color palettes and what the room is going to look like on the night of the event. That starts with that save the date and that invitation and the website. All of those pieces, and not even forget that, by the way, have AI start designing those event websites now. But these creative tools are to enhance what we can put out in the world, enhance what we can offer to our clients. Point number 4, speaking of event design and what's happening in the room, let's talk about floor plans. Now, we know that there are softwares out there that already have made our lives around floor plans easier. So shout out to all of the event farms and the Skipsters and the social tables of the world. What you will see is that within these platforms and even external AI applications is that we are talking about the world is your oyster in terms of what that floor plan could look like. We can get so much more creative, and we can do it to scale, and we can do it within capacity and fire codes and all of the things. Let it expand your horizon on what is possible and save time. And last but not least, number 5, the area, speaking of the room and where people are seated on the floor plan, is seating. Now, seating is one of my specialties. Hands down, it is one of the special areas that you can get specific services from Vernita Adele LLC and our team at Production by Human Intonation. So make sure you're tapping in with us for your 2026 events. But when it comes to seating, just imagine what AI is now allowing us to do. There are tools where we can gather so much more information about our attendees, about our clients' attendees, about their likes, their dislikes, what their interests are, the background, and start pairing them up beyond their sponsorship table or their team. Imagine that you are charged with seating a room of 5,000, 500, 5,000 or more, and you can use AI to create that first pass with a sense of who is in the room and why it makes sense to sit one person next to each other before you ever present that first pass to your client, so that your client doesn't have to start from scratch. Instead of having 6 seating meetings to seat those 500 people, maybe you can have 2 or 3. Everything is a time saver. And at the end of the day, as we said in our last video, our most important role as executive producer is to ensure your client's return on investment. So if we can save them time, we could take 3 meetings off of their calendar. That is money well worth saved. So again, tap in with Vernita Adele, whether on LinkedIn, at Instagram. This is your space where we are thriving in our events in 2026. Today, we talked about 5 predictions of how AI will continue to change our approach to event production. And at Vernita Adele, and let the world know how you'll use your hot sauce today.